Hello, everyone. My name is Wengshuan Li, and I am from China. I am 40 years old, and for the last 4 years, I have been running a private business here in China. It has been very tough. And although we operate positively, we are struggling to grow faster. Sometimes I feel like I'm alone on this road and that there is no one supporting the entrepreneurs like me. However, having a business is a long run. So I really hope it will change in the future. Respected members of the jury, my name is not Meng Shuan, and I am not from China. But unfortunately, there are around 30 million such people like Wang Shuan running a small or medium-sized businesses. It's not easy and they need help. And we, Victor, Mina, Tamara, and myself, Sava, will show you how WeChat can help them.
Thank you very much, Sava. Now, before we start explaining all the details of our solution and the rationale behind the decisions we have made, let me walk you quickly through our executive summary. We have
Can we ask for a timeout, please?
Yes. Technical team, please stop the timer.
Of the WeChat-based users
and
attract.
Sorry, Mina,
you for a second.
Yes, please start over from executive summary. Yes.
Okay. Now, before we start explaining all of the details of our solution and the rationale behind decisions we have made, let me walk you quickly through our executive summary. We have concluded that the overarching challenge of the current position of WeChat Pay is creating an IT solution that will address all of the needs of SME owners while also creating financial value for the WeChat company. This platform has to achieve objectives of offering more value-added services to WeChat-based users and attract more SMEs while providing them with sustainable growth. This is why we are proposing a program that is universal enough, but addresses all of the needs of various SME owners and supports them in establishing and further developing their business. This program is called We Help and will result in 17% return on investment rate, $1.2 billion of additional revenue, and 23 million acquired SMEs. Now, let's go to the actual beginning of the story, 20-some years in the past. Since Tencent was founded in 1998, there have been a few stepping stones towards forming an offer for SMEs. Firstly, WeChat itself was launched in 2011, and shortly after that, WeChat Pay was followed in 2013. This posed an opportunity for merchants to get an easy-to-use payment service provided. Then, there was a need for these owners to have a payment system which didn't require them to add all of the customers on the app in order to transfer money, and thus, personalized QR codes functionality was added. With this, we come to a question of how can Tencent and WeChat Pay continue to fulfill the mission of value for users, tech for good, while keeping in mind SMEs. But let's take a look at why this business segment is so important. Well, firstly, there's a large number of these types of enterprises. To be precise, 28.93 million, and this number comes with a 29.5% year-over-year growth rate. But what is more significant is the economic impact of them. SMEs have created 80% of job opportunities, account for 50% of tax revenue, and contribute a whopping 60% of country's GDP. But even though these enterprises have such a big impact on the economy, they're being compromised by a large number of challenges, which have been even more accelerated by the COVID-19 pandemic. Evidence of this issue is the failure rate of 18.5%. This is why 2019 was a crucial year for WeChat Pay. The whole focus of SME-focused services has shifted from being solely a payment service provider to an operation service provider, which supports owners and helps them take care of their business. But the key problem lies somewhere else. It lies in the lack of funding, which is traditionally given out by financial institutions. But they are unfortunately reluctant to lend funds to SMEs because of the fact that giving out loans presents a high risk of return, since they have high failure rates and lower profit margins. So to issue loans, financial institutions are asking for collateral or other financial guarantees that SMEs and small mom and pop shops don't have. We believe the root of the problem is the missing knowledge required to transition to modern digital payment systems, and this problem can be decomposed in several factors. Looking at the short-term period, most of the challenges are focused around the actual point-of-sale machines, which is the first step in setting up the payment system. WeChat Pay has several iterations in creating a user-friendly POS system, but SME owners have had a hard time using it, either because they don't have financial resources for the machine itself, or they believe they need to be skilled in IT to use it. This means that they are using their own devices, and further, they need to be in the store at all times. Also, the payment process lasts too long and can be interrupted by a simple incoming call, shortage of internet, or something else. Also, another challenge is the registration process, which lasts too long and results in loss of opportunity of generating revenue. There is also a problem if they don't have access to a printer to print out their QR codes, or even if they do have access to a printer, the paper needs to be durable enough or laminated in order to be used over time. And this in turn means even more expenses, of course. And when we are looking at the long run, WeChat Pay currently doesn't provide any long-term support. This means that even though WeChat Pay offers a modern, technically advanced solution, it hasn't understood or addressed all of the needs of SME owners. And now that we have understood WeChat Pay and SME owners, as well as the roots of the challenge, I would like to give the word to Tamara, who will talk about our solution.
Thank you, Mina. Even though WeChat had proposed great technical solutions to SMEs, it didn't take in consideration how ready are these enterprises to start using new technology solutions. This made a great gap that needs to be filled. Therefore, we present to you We Help program. It will not only have a great payment technology, but also it will include all following services that will help SMEs to start using WeChat payment system in an efficient way. We Help program will integrate 4 parts that will create one full circle of payment services. With We Help program, we want to ensure sustainable growth of our clients, provide all needed infrastructure that they need to adjust to online way of doing business, and at the end, we want to give them knowledge so they can use technology in more efficient way. So how we will do this? There are 4 main phases in our We Help program. The first one applies to the infrastructure. So when we talk about infrastructure, there are 2 main parts WeChat Pay needs to provide to SMEs. The first one is technology infrastructure or platform, that is actually WeChat Pay. The other one, it represents the physical infrastructure. So after reading our case, we concluded that one of the main reasons for not using WeChat Pay technology is that SMEs didn't have the right equipment. This means that they're using, for example, their cell phones, causing numerous problems that restrains them to fully use all potentials of this system. Because of this, we want to provide them POS machines or point-of-sale machines that will be easy to use. So all payment could be now done using these machines. Seller will not have need for printing QR codes or staying all day by their phone to review orders or manually do it. All the orders will be displayed where they can accept or deny them. Also, they can get all needed information about conducted payment, like confirmation or is it paid in full. We don't want to sell these POS machines, as we saw this was the mistake WeChat made. We want to give them to SMEs in form of monthly subscription. Price of the subscription will be approximately $4. So in the first year, we project the number of 1.3 million of SMEs that will be using our POS machines. The second step in our program is education. This part is very important. As we already pointed out, members of SMEs didn't know how to use WeChat Pay system. Because of this, there have been a lot of so-called silent merchants, meaning that they had account on WeChat but didn't use it for any form of payment. After conducted survey, the results showed that the people are willing to use this system, but almost 50% of them don't know how to make it work. This led to trust problems. So therefore, besides right infrastructure, we want to educate people how POS machines are used, how they can be connected to WeChat technology, and at the end, as additional value, how they can use WeChat platform to attract more customers and promote their products. All this education part will be available in online and offline form. But mainly, we want to focus it on online segment as costs are lower and is it more feasible solution. We want to create online tutorials that will help SMEs to start using our system, as well as to create online chatbots that users can get when they want to ask some frequent questions. For all users who don't have access to the internet, don't use it, or maybe don't know how to watch our online tutorials, we want to enable them to have all needed help provided by our team on the field. We also want to create a mini brochure with needed instructions that will come with all bought POS machines. Beside this, we will make a team of experts who will always be available for questions from our SMEs members. They can get also on the field and help if there is some difficulties regarding POS machines. As one of the main goals is to create solutions that will enable sustainable growth of SMEs, we want to give them an added value for users in form of business analytics. So this analytics will be adjusted to the needs of given enterprises, meaning there will be a wide range of KPIs like numbers of goods sold, costs, revenue, best-selling products, and so on. The clients will have an opportunity to monitor monthly business performance and to compare it. This will help them in making better decisions in favor of their business. Data used for creating these dashboards will be collected from POS machines and directly from SMEs. This means that all data will be used only with approval of SME members. For this phase, after analysis, we concluded that more profitable is to hire external company. So these dashboards will be able for use in both online and offline form. Now, for the last phase of our program, I give my word to Sava.
Thank you. So after the entrepreneurs secured a good infrastructure, got educated on how to use it, and received useful insights for their business, they will obviously need good funding in order to continue climbing those ladders of success. And the problem that happens very often is that they just can't find any kind of external funding. That is very important because the reason number one why the SMEs fail is that they have no funding needed. And the fact that less than 20% of the SMEs in China have access to the bank loan is really worrying. However, this statistic is getting better than it was 10 years ago, but it's still not enough. And the question that comes to mind immediately is why the SMEs just don't have the support they need in order to secure sustainable growth. And the answer is very simple. Banks don't trust SMEs. They don't trust them because they don't know them. And the SMEs don't have any credit history nor proof that they will actually return the money back to the bank. Also, banks will often require a small business to put up a property as a collateral for the loan, even if the loan is not for a real estate purchase. So this requirement can put pressure on the small business owner. And this is why only 1 out of 5 small, medium enterprises get the loan from the bank. But we want to change that. And here is how. So WeChat wants to help the SMEs achieve sustainable growth. For that, the SMEs will need additional financial resources. So we are proposing the microloans that will be given to the small and medium enterprises. In this system, the risk from our side is really low because we know them. We are going to use the infrastructure we distributed to the business owners in order to gather the information about their businesses. And this will help WeChat Pay decide who is eligible for the loan and who is not. So with the data WeChat have, there is no need for any credit history nor for the collateral. WeChat believe them because WeChat know them. So by doing this, WeChat's mission is expanding and it becomes value for users, tech for good, partners for life. And in order to respect that mission, WeChat Pay have to offer something special. And the conditions we propose are very attractive for the business owners. The interest rate is 2%. We offer microloans that go up to $30,000 for 1 year payback period and no credit history required. Victor will later explain you the effects of this attractive offer. However, we also took into account that sometimes small business owners just don't understand the process of applying for a small business loan. So we make it considerably easier and time efficient. It is enough to fulfill the application form, and after that, the proprietary technology will analyze the data which is collected and show whether the business is eligible for the loan or not. And after that, the loan is being approved and the contract is signing. So at the end of the process, money is being transferred by the WeBank, which is a Tencent affiliate company. And now Victor will explain you the effects of our strategy.
As all things need time, so does our strategy. And to achieve success, there are some key steps we need to take spread out in a 5-year period. In the first year, we need to establish integration with WeBank to give the possibilities to give out loans to the SMEs. Also, it is important to find an adequate partner to give us high-quality POS machines for our users. In year 2023, the marketing campaign starts. We start piloting our POS programs and start the development of the analytics function. The main year and critical year is 2024, when all parts of the strategy start. We start giving out loans to SMEs, start the full deployment of the POS machine program, and we launch the analytics parts to our users. After that, we continue implementing the strategy, issuing loans, deploying POS machines, and of course, maintaining the analytics service. As this strategy will have a high initial cost, it will cost us $10 million in the first year, but in the following year, we're going to turn a profit of $171 million, and that will grow to around $510 million yearly additional revenue after a 5-year period, making the total revenue of this strategy to be over $1.1 billion at a cost of around $900 million, with a total return on investment of 17%. Also, all parts of these strategies will bring new SMEs in the WeChat ecosystem, and that being 23 million new POS users, over 2 million SMEs using our analytics options, and issuing over 5 million loans in a span of 5 years. Most of the additional revenue and feature will be the analytics part and also the possibility of issuing loans. The analytics part will cost around $750 million for development and $150 million for yearly maintenance. This feature will give great insight to all SMEs, using it at a price of $100 per year and incentivizing them to dive deeper into their core business and see where they can improve and grow. When talking about loan risks, WeChat Pay can give out loans at a discounted rate in comparison with other banks. We can do so by having big data from POS machines about the financial statement of SMEs and their transactions. And based on them, we can correctly give out small loans to business owners so their business can thrive and grow. We have estimated that the average loan size would be around $10,000 at a 2% interest rate. Key costs of the strategy being marketing costs, development of the analytics, initial POS costs, which will pay off in the first year, 5,000 new employees needed for these strategies, and the maintenance of the ERP system. Thank you very much for your attention. We are ready for the Q&A session.
Thank you for the presentation. We will start the Q&A. There will be 15 minutes.
Okay, thanks.
Let's hear the first question from the judges.
Okay, well, thank you very much for the presentation. Maybe I start first. You talked about education, bringing the SMEs up to speed in terms of the technology, the knowledge. And you mentioned about going for online and offline channels. Offline will be brochure, a team of people supporting them. What is the cost consideration?
Sorry, did you say the cost consideration?
Yeah, the costs to support
thank you very
training
much for
the SMEs.
Initially, we acknowledged that we needed to hire new people that would go out and be there for the SMEs and give out their support. So we have estimated that around 5,000 new people will be needed. With most of them being strictly helping the SMEs, and we have calculated that around $20,000, $25,000 they would need as a salary. So that were some of the costs that we have taken into consideration. Also, we have taken into consideration the brochures and everything needed as proprietary marketing material, which would be needed to also which we also took into consideration.
So is it
Yes.
part of the one-off costs?
Pardon, can you please repeat?
Is it part of the initial costs, just for first year?
Yes, exactly. And that is why we are in a minus, let's say, in the first year, and after that, it would pay off itself.
Right. So what about subsequent years?
So in the subsequent 2 years, the initial costs of the hiring new people and also the initial cost of the POS machines would be paid out, and we would start turning profit of around 700 million respectively, and also that would be growing to 300 million in year 4 and 500 million in year 5.
Okay. I ask one more question, which is cost related. On analytics and dashboard, you talked about getting external help, external company to do it. And again, what about the cost element of it?
Yes, thank you. We have found that the cost of development of some sort of ERP system was initially $750,000 for the development and $150,000 for the maintenance, yearly maintenance of the systems. So those are initial costs of the analytics system.
Okay, thank you.
Hi there.
Hi.
Oh, sorry.
No worries. Alison, you go first. It's fine.
Okay. Just on your revenue projections, I think it's year 3 it drops. Is that right? From 170?
Yes.
Yeah. What was that drop from?
Yeah, because we have always the initial cost of the POS machines, and in year 2 we estimated that a lot of SMEs will come to us, and we will have a little bit higher costs of the SME system. So that is why it will drop. But in year 3, the loan system and analytics system functions would be given out. So that is why it is projected to rise after that.
Okay. Just a couple of other questions. So 5,000 new employees. So is that because, can you just explain where those 5,000 people go?
Okay, maybe I can jump in here. Yes. When we're talking about the offline segment and the brochure delivery, it's just because China is huge, and those brochures will have to be made, printed out, delivered, and also planned what should be on it. The 5,000 people is just the approximation we've came up to in these 6 hours. However, we decided on turning out to the online segment because this option is much more scalable than the offline.
Okay.
And also, if I can add to this question, the team that will be formed also need more people, because we also need people to get on the field and handle difficulties in offline segment, but also we will need people in online segment that will be, let's say, support for our SME members. So that's also why we need more people here.
Okay. And your key risks for this strategy? So what do you think your key risks are, top 3 key risks?
Okay, can I proceed?
Mm-hmm.
So as we know that WeChat Pay already established a lot of strategy to help SMEs, but didn't find the right way because of the technology and IT capabilities knowledge. We see the key risk as not trusting our program once again, because it failed, let's say, a couple of times. So the key risk here is this, but we want to mitigate this risk with education part, as we want to take back trust of our SME members. Also, the second key risk here is giving loans to our users and maybe not collecting data in the right way and not see if they have a right credit score. So maybe some companies see as a great opportunity to give them the loans, but maybe don't have enough capabilities to give it back. So we want to mitigate this risk by improving our data analysis, maybe employing more BI groups or other external companies, or forming other team that will deal with this problem. So we see these as the main two risks in our strategy.
A related question on risks. I was wondering, you talked about WeBank doing the loans, SME loans themselves. And what about your assumption on customer who fail to pay? And in other words, loan default?
Okay, I'm not sure. Can you please repeat the question?
That is, you offer loans to the SMEs instead. What is your assumption, and how that is incorporated into your financial analysis on customer default on the loans, not paying the loans?
Yes, actually, we don't think that will happen, because loan will be given to one WeChat Pay believe is the right person to be given to, because we want to collect data and then after a certain period of time decide who is eligible for it or not. So it's going to be very, very. It will take time to really know who is the right person to be given money out. It has to take time.
So you're saying that you use your analysis, use your information, and whoever you've chosen to give the loan to, you don't think there will be default?
That's right. Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Actually, my question is along the same line. So in terms of your analysis, you actually have not assumed any bad debt positions at all in terms of the cost, the revenue projection at the back.
Thank you for your question. So mainly the main focus of the loans being, and why we think that they will have low default rates, is actually that through the data collection system, we will have a backend interface that will tell us if the if the SMEs have the capability to give out, to pay back the loans. Also, if they stop paying back the loans because they use WeChat and use it for our transactions, we can, through some kind of leverage with them, take out the money and give it back to us through maybe making a higher transaction fee, or maybe taking out the higher transaction fee mainly.
Thanks.
Okay, one last question is, what about your consideration on ESG?
What? Sorry, I didn't hear you.
Consideration of ESG, environmental, sustainability, governance. Any
Yes, the
consideration on
ESG plays a huge role here because the government is really concerned about the SMEs sector. That's why we want, to try to help this business segment as much as we can while still being profitable. So we think that the total impact of our strategy will be really positive to this SME segment.
Can you tell me how, please?
Yes. Well, actually,
can I take this question?
Absolutely.
Thank you, Sava. So, when we talk about the last phase in our strategy, which is loans, to apply to the loan, actually, they need to provide, let's say, business plan. So how they will use their money, and we want to check if those business plan are actually in line with a sustainable growth and with goals we want to achieve as a WeChat Pay company, which is of course SDGs. And by reviewing their plan, by giving them loan, we will actually support the SDGs. So that is the final part, how we will tackle these goals. I hope that I answered your question here.
Yes, thank you.
Do you think WeChat has any gaps in its skill base to implement this?
Well, as WeChat is a very large company that provided a lot of great technology to SMEs, but not considering maybe how SMEs function in the right way, we believe that they have capabilities to fully provide this whole program, maybe with new staff or some new external companies. But yes, we believe that in a 5-year period, this program will be fully integrated and could be fully integrated by WeChat.
Okay.
Do we still have time? Do you foresee any regulatory constraints or regulatory issues in implementing the solutions?
Well, we think that maybe the biggest part we have considered when talking about legal aspects was the actual data and analytics that we are gathering from the SME users. But something we have came up with is that once they are entering our program, they need to not exactly sign a contract, but comply with our terms and conditions, which where it will be stated that all the information will be used precisely and only for uses of forming analytics for their use, or for approving for the loans. So this is actually how we try to mitigate that aspect.
And maybe one more risk here, as we considered, was actually regarding loans and bank that need to provide loans to actually this problem. So they already have established and bank, and they have license for doing this.
Yeah, I just want to clarify that is the WeBank she is talking about, which is already an institutionalized company.
Thank you, Mina.
Thank you, students and the judges. That's the end of the Q&A.